Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Paul Brown Show. This evening, my guest will be Mr. Wes Clayton, Senior from Norcor Technologies. How you doing there, Mr. Clayton?
Oh, very well.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I was born in Jamaica, which is in the West Indies. I'm sure a lot of people know what Jamaica is.
Correct.
I was not a town type of person. I was born in the country. So I grew up on a farm. My parents were farmers. And having such background, they stressed mostly that you have to get a good education.
Okay.
And where we were, where we live, that was the hallmark of that community. We have a very strong teachers, headmaster, who stressed that we should learn Latin, Greek, etc., and math to be successful. So that kind of background propelled me throughout my life. I entered high school at 15 and then participate in sports. So with the background in sports, I was able to move from the farming community to the town of Kingston, which is the big city. Okay. There I met a lot of friends, and I worked there for a few years. But during that time, I represented Jamaica right out of high school in track and field. And I went to the West Indies Games, British Commonwealth Games, the Olympics, etc., etc. And I received a scholarship from a small college in the south called Philander Smith College. Well, my mother didn't want me to go because she heard that they did not like black people in America. So she told me not to go. But so I told the coach at that time that I couldn't come. So after 3 years, meeting some of the other Jamaicans who were in college over here, they said we should, they were here, so why not come? So I took the scholarship, then I went to Philander Smith College. I didn't spend more than a semester there because I was very inquisitive, as a young man. And the community was not, could not treat the way I feel going out into the community and how I was treated was a bad experience, to be frank with you. So I only spent a semester, left there and ended up in California, where it was quite different, you see. It's a long story, which I've written in my autobiography, which will be published in another few months. Okay. California was interesting, and I ended up at the University of Southern California. We studied international relations, international public administration, and then I went back to Jamaica and worked for the Foreign Service, and got married after that, and went back twice to Jamaica and worked for the government, and returned to the United States, which was very interesting again. So when I came back, it was difficult. This was in the 70s now, because I graduated in 1966 at University of Southern California, and came back in 79. Things were different. Because I remember deciding what to do, because I had a family then, and I couldn't get a job. Although had whatever qualification I had, I couldn't get a job. So I decided I wanted to become a stockbroker, which became a joke because none of the firms would hire me. You know, I went to all of them, all the big ones, and they were hiring black people at that time. So one firm said they'll take a look at me, and it was a Jewish manager at this firm, and which was a regional firm in Oklahoma City, because then my wife was from Oklahoma City at the time. So when I left Jamaica, I went there. So they said I had to take this Series 7 exam.
Correct.
But secretly, I understand they were laughing because they said I couldn't pass it. So I took it and passed it, and they didn't know what to do with me. But then I found out that I was in the wrong business at the time, because the black people in Oklahoma didn't have a lot of money, you know, so my investment base was very small. And of course, as the white people, it was difficult having them to invest through me at the time. So I decided to look around and see what kind of business I could get into. So met a young man from New Orleans. I was a professor at the University of Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. So he told me, why not try and get into business, you know, with him? So we decided to get into the oil business.
That's great.
Yes, so I don't know if you have enough time to talk about all of it, but to make a long story short, I applied for a loan at the bank in order to start a business. I was turned down, of course, but we finally met a banker who was willing to help us.
Okay.
And the only reason for that, because he was on the Urban League board. So Vernon Jordan came to Oklahoma City at the time. I had met him earlier in Washington, D.C., and that connection gave me an opportunity to talk to the banker, and they said they would make the loan. Well, they made the loan, and then next day I got a call and said the loan is off.
Why is that?
Well, I guess the story got around, and at that time, they just didn't lend money to black people in the sense of getting into business.
Correct.
And we're talking about roughly about $500,000, which is, in today's
Correct.
concept, is small, but that was large to them at that time, you know, in the history of black business, not only in Oklahoma, but I would assume throughout the United States. Anyway, we were able to drill some wells. We drilled about 30 wells up in Oklahoma and Kansas, and we operated them for about 5 years. And then, if you know the history of the oil business, when OPEC came into being and the price becomes very low, the cost of drilling well was more than what the price of oil was. So there was the bank that we were working with was called Penn Square Bank. That bank went under because of that, and so we had to close the business. Then I moved to North Carolina, and that's when I set up Norcor, and we've been here since 1989, and we are hoping to expand. But some of the same difficulties we find with the banks not courageous enough to lend us money or to support us to do the things we want to do. And we're still having difficulties.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What type of company is Norcor?
Well, Norcor is basically in the alternative energy business. Although we supply HVAC equipment into large construction, like, for example, the Hearst Tower, which is owned by Bank of America, the Gateway Project, Convention Center, and a few more in Charlotte. That area, we cannot sustain us to the point where we want to expand. So that's why we decided to go into the alternative energy business. And that means we are looking at putting together solar farms.
Oh, okay.
And not only in North Carolina, but throughout the Caribbean. We're looking at doing one in Jamaica at this time. And it's expensive to put together, because solar energy, although it's new, it costs a lot of money.
Correct.
So a small farm that we might put together with, say, for example, 1.4 megawatts, will cost at least $4 to $5 billion. But we are hoping that we'll get the financing, perhaps from the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, and in the Caribbean, the Japanese are setting up some funding sources, and the Chinese. So we'll be able to utilize those funds to do what we want to do. We're looking forward, perhaps in the future, to do about 10 plants, 10 farms in Jamaica. And the reason for that is because the price of diesel is so high, and that's what they're using for electricity, to provide electricity down there. Now they're looking at natural gas, but I think solar would be great for them, and we're looking forward to that.
I know you talked a lot about you're starting up your business. How do you see as far as the progress of minority business in Charlotte?
Well, I have been in Charlotte since 1983. And of course, I've been involved in the community. I was president of the Caribbean Association, and interact a lot with small business, particularly minority. And I've seen how the city evolved with dealing with them. And personally, I don't think they really understand how to help minority to become successful. And what I mean by that is that what the minority business is making in terms of income is very small in terms of the majority of the community, the majority companies are making. They're making millions and millions, while they make the minority business is making small, less than $1 million, so to speak. So I think that minority business need much more promotion and investments, and perhaps the banking institution need to take a good look how they can help them expand. But you see, we perhaps need someone in the community from a political point of view in order to help promote that.
How important is that to have someone of that nature to express the feelings of the Caribbean community?
Say it again.
How important is that to have someone, inside that?
Well, it's very important, but there has to be some liaison.
Correct.
From the city or county with the minority business and the banking community. I know how it can be done, but they probably wouldn't listen to me.
Why'd you say that?
Well, you have to have a certain posture within the community. And what I mean is that from a political point of view, you see, say for somebody from, say, the mayor's office, who understand investments, understand business, understand how to build businesses, and able to talk to the banking community and to